Welcome to Creative Caregiving and Beyond. More and more people are having to become caregivers for their elderly loved ones, and navigating this journey can be really difficult. This podcast will provide guidance and give practical tips for your family. Your host is Wendy Whiteman, elder law attorney, author, speaker, and leading insight advisor in senior protocol and senior lifestyle trends. Know that you are not alone in getting the help that you need. Let's get started. And here's Wendy.
Welcome to another episode of Creative Caregiving and Beyond. And today we have a special guest, Jaime Cobb, who's the Vice President of Dementia and Caregiver Education at James L. West Center for Dementia Care. So Jaime, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I'm so excited about hearing about what you do. And I know James L. West is a premier facility in Fort Worth, and I've been there and enjoyed touring your facility. And I wanted to, first let's just start with your background. Can you give us a little bit of information about your background?
Sure. I went to Abilene Christian University. I got a degree in marketing and public relations, which has helped a little bit in my career.
Yes.
Really how I got into all of this was I lived in California for a short stint.
Okay.
And got a job working at a day program there.
Oh.
Fell in love with it.
Okay.
And it was a day program specific for people with dementia.
Okay.
And while I was in California, calling back home and, finally got to come back home. And I was like, yay, I'm back to Texas. But then I just knew that's where I wanted my career to be, is working with people with dementia and their families.
Okay.
Had to get a couple of jobs because you have to have some money when
Yes.
you move. But finally found my way. And it was a lucky thing. I'd never heard of the James L. West Center before.
Yes.
But I was just Googling it, and I said, this is what I want to do. I want to do education for families and work with them.
Okay.
And it came, and I just sent my application in to the West Center. They had just recently got approved funds through the Sid Richardson Foundation to start a community education program.
Okay.
Because they were getting so many calls and requests in the community just saying, what do I do with my loved one? I don't know that I want to come and necessarily live at the West Center,
Right.
but I need help, and y'all are the ones that are experts in it.
Yes.
So we got the funds approved to start this education program, and I was just, good timing on my part, or the good Lord, I think, looking after both of us.
For sure,
to
for
put
sure.
that application in. And so that was 10 years ago. We're actually celebrating our 10-year anniversary for the education department at the West Center this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've been there from the beginning.
For the education, yeah.
For the
West
education
Center's
part.
been there
Yes.
going on 30 years.
Okay.
So they've been there serving persons with dementia in their residential care. So it's licensed as a nursing community right now. So we have persons that live there, and we have our day program as well. Currently closed, but we're going to open back up again in the spring in a separate location so we can serve more people
Okay.
for the day. They come during the day, get the services, get the stimulation, get the support they need, and their families, right? And then get to go home at night. So
Very good, very good. So that inspired you along the way to stay the course and help so many people in the community.
Yeah.
Wow, I bet there is an outpouring for help, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was how I got there, and the needs there, and I still love it. I mean, it's
Right.
Of course, we're helping people, but it's a personal mission
Yes.
of mine as well as the West Center's mission.
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about the program. What type of services do you offer in that educational part?
In the education part, we do serve a variety of audiences, mainly caregivers for persons of somebody with dementia, a family member or a friend, wherever they may be. They can still be living at home. They can come live at the West Center if they want to, but they can be in another state, especially now with all the online access we have.
That's true.
We're in another country, but we provide a variety of education programs and support groups.
Okay.
2 to 3 times out of the week,
Wow.
days out of the week, we're doing a program of some sort. And it can be skill building, just how do I help communicate with my loved one, or how do I get my loved one to shower? I need tips on that.
Now that's an area right there. I hear
Right?
about that often.
That came up this morning. We were doing a program this morning. That
Yes.
really having a hard time.
The magic words to make that happen, yes.
I know. If you know what they are, so I can share them with everybody, that'd be great. So, but it's a skill building, but also how do we help those caregivers, manage their stress and build some resilience and walk through their grief, because this is a journey for not just the person diagnosed, but the whole, the family unit and the community at large as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's wonderful. So are the classes, how does a person find out about the classes, and what type of classes do you offer for caregivers and the community, family, education, as well as, I guess, professional caregivers and then family caregivers?
Yes. Yeah. So right now would be our website. You can go to, and we have an education calendar listed of our upcoming programs that we have. We also have a catalog that you can flip through online that says, it has lists the majority of the programs that we offer. We actually, since 10 years ago when we started, we have grown and just created more programs and adopted some evidence-based and evidence-informed programs. We offer about over 100 different programs for families, professionals as well. And we do some community at large, like healthy brain aging programs too. But we have the website. You can also ask to be on our e-newsletter. So we send out, it's about maybe once a week, maybe every other week, that we send out, here are our upcoming programs that we're going to do, and here's how to register for them. Right now, the majority of them are online. Not all, but the majority of them are. We're starting to do some more in-person things. And we have a YouTube channel that we've downloaded some of our programs, that we've just recorded them and downloaded them there. So if it is 3 o'clock in the morning,
that's a great idea.
You're like, I finally got Dad to go to sleep, and I'm still awake, so let me access these videos as I can.
Very good. So what would you say your most popular classes would be? Have you been able to determine that?
I think right now we do some like caregiver burnout and resiliency. Right now, that's been one of the most well-attended programs that we've done. I think just because you need the resiliency to be a caregiver. Yes. But also just the day and time that we're living into.
Yeah. Well, have you found during those classes with a caregiver that may be burnout, is there something that can allow them to rekindle that spark and get back in there? What would you suggest generally, or through your classes, what would they normally suggest?
Right now, a lot of it is kind of helping change your perspective, I think, on your role as a caregiver. And you have to kind of do the work, the internal work. We're, one of our programs, we're currently in a series right now. We say you're going to get out of this program what you put into it. The same with life, right?
Right,
So,
that's so true.
We do stress management techniques as part of that program, so do them with us. And we ask you to practice these throughout the week. We meet back and do some self-reflections.
Yes.
And then we really encourage people to be part of a support group of some sort. Because that when you're in a support group, you hear other people's stories, you hear their experiences, and you get to relate, and you're like, you know what, I'm not alone.
You don't feel alone.
Yeah, I'm not. This is really hard, but I'm not alone. And I can go to a place and talk to people about it in a safe, non-judgmental environment. And so that's I think one of the most beneficial things. The education's great. Because you need that, but you also got to be able to talk to people just about what in the world's going on here.
Right. Someone who would understand, who's been there before. That makes all the difference in the world. And
one of the great things, we have the support groups as well, education. But then it's an educational support group, but it's run by a licensed counselor. And my colleague, she also does education with me, but that's the people that have stayed in that support group have been with her for several years now that she's been doing it. And of course, their journey has changed as their loved one's journey and disease diagnosis has changed, or even they've passed away, but they stay on that support group so they can share back, this is what I've learned. Let me share my experiences and hopefully help.
That's a great idea. Yeah. So what, do you develop the curriculum yourself, your staff, and how do you find out what to teach in the classes?
A little bit about. So we started out with, I surveyed previous caregivers and said, what do you need to know? What do you wish you knew? help me help you. Right?
Yes.
And it did come back to, I wish I would have known what to expect.
Okay.
So we developed some of the curriculum on just what the needs were that they told us.
Okay.
And we do take the philosophy of care that we do at the James L. West Center and put that into our programs, which is really focusing on quality of life. Right now, for dementia and Alzheimer's, there's not a cure, there's not a prevention, there's not medication that's going to change the course of the disease.
Right.
So how do we help facilitate a quality of life for both, the person with the diagnosis and the family? So we kind of focus our education on that.
Okay.
We do best practices. We stay up to date on the best practices and what's going on. And I mentioned earlier, we do adopt some evidence-based and evidence-informed programs.
Okay.
From other organizations, like the Rosalind Carter Institute for Caregiving, for instance. They have an evidence-informed program that we're master trainers for.
Okay.
And some other programs as well. So.
Oh, very good, very good. So is there a cost to families to come and partake in the community education, the community service, and
No, there's not. And that's that's their charitable gift back. The West Center is a nonprofit, so we're able to give back that way. Now, we do professional training as well, and sometimes there might be a charge for a program here and there, but no, we want the families and friends to come and get this education as they need it when they need it.
That's very good. Now, the professional training, so you train, we were talking earlier, CNAs. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we do current and future healthcare professionals.
Oh, right.
So current healthcare professionals, whether you're a doctor or a nurse and you've been doing it for 20 years, there's still stuff to know about dementia and Alzheimer's.
That is so true. That is so true.
And depending on the setting that you're into, so we can help with that. And we offer CE credits for nursing and social work so they can continue their education.
Okay.
Dementia care. But we do have our future healthcare professionals. So we do have a CNA school, Certified Nurse Assistant School, that has dementia enhanced hours. So we do extra dementia training. As they go through the state certified school, they get that extra dementia training with us. And we're able to partner with the Fort Worth ISD. And so they have a program where their high school students are going through some early college career and training.
Oh, very good.
And we partnered with them to do the CNA course for their junior level classes. So as they graduate, they already have a certificate, nursing
wonderful.
assistant certificate, so we can help inform that workforce development, which is needed.
Are you finding there's a growing interest amongst the high school students to go into that pathway for a career?
There is.
Yeah.
I think so, especially how it's set up. I didn't have that opportunity when I was going through high school.
Right. Nor did I.
I know.
No.
I'm like, I'm kind of jealous. I want to go back. Not really, but, to have that opportunity to really say, this is a career.
It is.
You can do so many different things in healthcare or even just senior living, and getting your foot in the door is huge. So.
Yeah. So I'm sure you've come across some situations that have been very rewarding to find out that's happened with the family or impacted a family. Can you recall any situations that you think that were just amazing, that you've seen the results of the program and the impact in a family's life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two people, their faces come to my mind, but one lady, she was going through one of our education classes.
Okay.
And she pulled me aside after one of the classes and said, "Now I know that there's no way I can bring my friend here to the West Center." They just assumed that we were already full. And I said, "Well, no, of course. Let's get you a tour. Let's see if this is the right fit for you and your friend and get you going." So she started with us in the education. I was able to take that knowledge, the skills that we were teaching, but actually implement them in home with her and the other community that her friend was in. But then being able to come back. And so we were able to walk with her through the longest journey. And that's, the most rewarding for me, to be able to see people change. Another gentleman comes to mind with his wife, and he's stuck with the programs, did with them, still with us. Both of these two people
Oh, that's
are still
wonderful.
with us, and their months have passed. But
Wow.
being able just to see them transform. We see them in class time, right? But as they come in and as they transform through the class and things they learn, and then being able to hear them share back with other caregivers on that support group.
Yes.
It is just so rewarding to say, these programs, we teach them, but they're the ones that take that information and they're changing their lives. They're empowering them to, and be able to be a part of that and just witness it is what's rewarding.
That's wonderful, especially when they're thinking, I have clients like this sometimes, they're thinking there's just no other way. I mean, there's no answer to this situation in my life. So, but to find out that information and know that there's someone that would actually walk with them through the process, that's amazing. Boy, that is a wonderful service. Ministry. It's really a ministry. What, how does it work? Do you ever have caregivers that come in that would love the information, but they have their loved one they're taking care of? Can they, do they sometimes bring them with them and they participate in the day program and then they can get the information? I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, now
typically?
Before everything, yes, we did have, we were able to offer, if you can't leave your loved one at home alone, or this is the only way they can come. Now, sometimes I'll say if they want to sit through the class, they certainly can.
Okay, great.
It's an individual,
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about some hard things at times.
That's
but,
true.
Each person's different. So, we can roll with it as we go. Or we do have some day programs. So, they can go to our day program for the time of the class.
Okay.
And we were doing that for free for the time being. As we move forward, our day program is going to be in a separate building where we'll offer some of those classes, or if it's an online class, I don't know what that'll look like going forward.
Okay.
But we are very committed to breaking down the barriers to getting people this education.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Whatever that looks like. So.
Well, that's wonderful. It sounds like your program is going to go way beyond James L. West, since it's on YouTube and you've got the technological avenue to get the information out there. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, so not all bad things came out of COVID.
No, not at all.
It really pushed us to do this technology. But we do, we've partnered with like the North Texas Area Agency on Aging, and that's expanded our audience. Just being able to offer it to other people in other states, but also in other countries. So other countries, this is not just an American problem.
True.
It's a worldwide problem, and
and
how we care for it is virtually the same. So being
that's
able to
great. What other countries have you guys expanded to, just off the top of your head?
We've had people from like Dublin, Canada.
Really?
Have popped on to our, because it's so easy now. Just
it
pop
is
on
easy.
to a Zoom class. And,
that's great. Awesome. And really, it's pretty much the same. Everyone's facing some of the same basic principles and issues when you're dealing with a loved one who has dementia. That's for sure. Yeah. Well, I'm sure they're happy to get that support as well.
Yeah.
So what tips would you leave our audience with? I mean, a caregiver who's faced with a family member who has dementia, and they're out there, they're feeling alone. What tips would you give them to go through this journey the best way they can? Yeah.
No, you don't have to do it alone.
Okay.
There are people that know what you're going through. They can help you go through this as well. There's a lot of community. The West Center has a lot to offer, but there's also a lot of other organizations that have other support services, and we want to be able to take advantage of those, right?
Yes.
And I would say not. Talking about it, right?
Yeah.
Just talk about it with trusted people that know. It's got to be a trusted person that can help support you to do that, and not be afraid to ask questions, or to and know I'm going to do something wrong or say something wrong, and that's okay, because I can try it again differently next time. I think that's the same with everything in life. But,
yes.
But knowing that we got to know the disease, but know the person as well. And just work through our humanity as we're working through this disease.
That's so true, because it's a process. You're right. There's always the next moment to start over. If you didn't get it right that time, it's like, oh well, I could try something different. Yeah, I've experienced that too with my mom, and God knows I didn't know, and I'm learning every day. So it's thank God we've got another day to come on board and learn more and get more information. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. You've been a wealth of information, and we definitely want to encourage everyone to go onto the website and get the continuing education, the information about dementia care. It's essential, and to know that you're not alone in this process. And it's great to have that person like Jamie to come alongside of you, like she did with the other lady at the facility. It just made a world of a difference. So thank you so much for coming on the show. And what is the website again? I want to get that out there.
JamesLWest.org.
Okay, jameslwest.org, and you can go on and get information about those educational programs. Well, thank you for watching this episode, and we want to do a special shout out to our social workers, because it's Social Worker Month, and we thank you for everything you do and helping our families. And make sure you like us and subscribe to our channel, and reach out to a senior, because it just may brighten your day.